Hello dear followers, welcome to my channel. My name is Marlies and today we're going to make embellished stars. The base paper that I am working on is the Sparkle Classic paper from Holtz. This is the silver one. I am going to spray with one of the new Mica stain colors. This is the Juniper Berry. Just spray randomly and activate the color with some water. After that, make sure to dry this layer before adding another color. The mica stain was not totally dry, so I picked up some of the drops with a paper towel. And here is a little close-up of the beautiful speckles and little splatters. Time to add a second color, and this is the Wonderland mica stain color, a little bit more of a light blue. This is our background that we're going to work with. Look at that shimmer and the sparkle. I really think it is good. On the background, I'm going to use this Holtz stencil with some foundry wax, the statue color. Make sure to shake your bottle very well before you use it and use it in small amounts because otherwise it will dry on your craft sheet. First thing that I did was applying it with my fingers. It did not work very well, not what I would want it to do. So I changed my method and took a little brush to apply it into those lower areas. Foundry wax needs to be heat set, so I am using my heat tool to do so. And in a close-up you can see how it looks. I think it is a great shimmer. So on the background I'm going to put these three little dies, the star dies. I will use my paper distresser to distress the edges. After I have done that, I'm also going to stitch along all sides. And with a little rub of brownish ink, the ground espresso color, you can make it look a little bit more aged. I have also cut out 3 red stars and I'm going to use these as a backing for the blue stars. I would like a pop of blue on those red stars, so I'm going back in with my mica stains, the Juniper Berry and the Wonderland color. And I'm just going to spritz and spray a little bit and not totally cover the whole stars. I'm going to dry the stars because they have to be completely dry before gluing them to the blue stars. And I did not forget my stitching along all sides. So I'm going to use the Distress Collage Medium Matte to glue the red stars and the blue stars together. After gluing these two parts, I will put them in underneath some heavy and large books just to keep them flat. And while these stars are in between my books, I have my hands free for the next step. Some Crackle paint translucent and some pieces of ephemera. And I'm going to apply the Crackle paste just with my finger in a thin layer on top of those ephemera pieces. After the applying process, I will put them to the side and let them air dry. I also have a close-up for you so you can see after drying how it looks like. For now, we have the stars and also the embellishments with the Crackle paste on top. So let's go on and get to the decorating part. I am using these branches, the Holtz Holiday Greens. You do not have to use all the branches and leaves in total, but just cut them into the right size for your project. So the base on this little star is a bed of branches. So it's a little bit in a circular shape and I'm just going to adhere it with a heat gun. I also got out some sisal, cut some off, and I will put it in the center of the star. For my round ephemera piece, the 25 cents, I got out my ground espresso Archival ink and I'm going to ink up all the edges for a little bit more of a brown vintage look. Time to glue it down, so I got a dot of glue in the center of the ephemera piece, so not all sides will stick and are flat on the star. After that I have some room underneath the edges of the round shape to put some moss in between with also some of the hot glue. And I will keep adding moss around the shape again and again until I am happy with the result. With some raffia, I created this little bow, and I also had some black loose thread laying around. So I'm going to glue them together just to get some extra layers in between. Put a dot of glue on the back and yeah, put it in the corner. Later on, I saw an empty corner in the left bottom corner. So yeah, do not be afraid to get back in there and add a little piece of branch and moss again. Let's start with our second star. I have got out the same branches, a piece of embellishment and this paper doll with a frosted crystal layer on top. When you stay in the same material and color scheme, all the stars will look matching and cohesive. So right now I'm finding my way with the branches. Where do I want them? And I have chosen to put them on the bottom of the star and the wreath. As soon as you have your layout ready for the branches, you can glue them down with your hot glue gun. So this is a close-up and yeah, your base is ready to work on even further. So I got out the paper doll and I'm going to give it a good rub of ink, Archival ink, a ground espresso. And I also am going to ink up the wreath and the branches. Now place the doll in the center of the wreath so it looks like she is being framed. Key for a cohesive and matching look is to use the same materials and colors again and again. So I am bringing in some pieces of sisal and I'm just gluing them down with a dot of glue. The sisal is supposed to be a little bit like grungy, rough, a little bit chaotic. There is not a certain way to add those pieces. So yeah, just add them randomly. Now that we have our wreath glued down, I'm going to repeat several steps. So I'm going to add some moss in some empty spaces, mostly around the bottom of the wreath, because that is the center, what I am focusing on. So the wreath itself is not glued down tightly, like there is still room in between the star and the wreath, and that means you can put some glue underneath there in between the layers and put your moss and some loose black threads in between. I'm also bringing back in the raffia bow, and this time with a piece of moss on the back, and yeah, place it in the spot that you think brings balance into your piece. Now on to our last, the biggest star, and also I have chosen a bigger piece of ephemera to fill up the middle, the center space of the star. And I'm going to repeat several steps, so I'm starting out with the branches. And what I'm looking for is those gaps in between the flowers are perfect to put the branches, just to fill those spots up. Again, some sisal to give it a little bit of a wild, grungy, chaotic look, yeah, which I really enjoy. Now I will look for the spots that are a bit empty, so I can put my pieces of moss over there just to fill those places up and give it a more circular shape. The moss is mostly added to the bottom and to the sides of the embellishment. The black thread that I'm using is just a regular sewing thread for your sewing machine, and I'm just going to rumple it up a little bit in between my fingers and then add a dot of glue and push it underneath the two layers. Because this centerpiece, the ephemera piece, is a little bit bigger, I thought it could use a nice holiday greeting banner. So, well, you know that we already did the Crackle paste on top, and it goes over the whole width of the star, and I think that looks beautiful. And then top it off with your raffia bow, yeah, you're good to go. Only thing that I want to do as a last step is to add a hole, punch a hole on the top of the stars. I'm going to repeat the same materials, so I got out some raffia and I'm just going to tie it on the top. Later on you will also see that I will add a little bell on a little ring onto the raffia. Because these are the last steps for this project, this video is almost done. So I hope you enjoyed it, got some inspiration out of it, and maybe are willing to try to make some of those stars for yourself, or maybe for somebody else, a co-worker, a family member, or maybe on your Christmas presents. When you like my content, please like, subscribe or comment down below. Any questions can be put in the comments section. I will answer them for you. But for now, I have to say thank you for watching and have a great day. Bye!